You have the floor again for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And I think that it's very important to note that if the NDP member is very concerned about transparency regarding not only ArriveCan but McKinsey, then she should be reminded that it is her party that blocked access to all of the documentation for this committee as well as the Government Operations Committee to review, and that she should keep this in mind in the future. Should she truly want transparency and want to obtain all of the documentation for review, that she needs to convince her party to provide her the authority to access this documentation. Mr. Chair, as you know, as Shadow Minister for the Treasury Board, I take very much seriously the responsibility of this role, and I believe that the President of the Treasury Board should take just as much, if not more, responsibility in being in the actual role herself for such a debacle of ArriveCan. And I want to ask the Auditor General directly, Madam Auditor General, have you had a conversation with the President of the Treasury Board, regarding your report on ArriveCan?
No, I have not. Typically, I do brief some of the ministers prior to releasing a report so that they are well equipped to know what the findings will be. In this case, I kept that briefing quite tight and did not actually brief the Treasury Board before ArriveCan. I felt it was important that all parliamentarians receive the report at the same time.
Certainly, as President of the Treasury Board, were I in this role, I certainly would be contacting you directly for a personal briefing as soon as possible. And it's disappointing to hear that this didn't occur. Monsieur Huppé, have you had a conversation with the President of the Treasury Board specifically regarding the results of the Auditor General report on ArriveCan?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. Absolutely, I did. Exactly 2 weeks ago. Not last week, the Wednesday before, shortly after the le dépôt du rapport of the Auditor General, I had about a 40-minute discussion with the President as to, the findings and also the action plan that we would be working on to make sure that we deal with this adequately. Now, I'm going to pass it over to Andrew here, who's got something I think he wants to add.
Just a quick clarification. I had a discussion with the Secretary of the Treasury Board where I informed the Secretary that we would not be having a briefing with the President. So that I want to make sure that it's clear that we were the ones that initiated that decision.
Thank you both. I will say, as President of the Treasury Board, I would have demanded one. I'll now pass my time to Mr. Barrett, please, Chair.
You have 2 minutes, Mr. Barrett.
Minh was hired as CTO, Chief Technology Officer, in June of 2023. How much in bonuses would he be paid for this year?
Decisions around bonuses will not have been made, so I don't have that information.
Okay. So Mr. Doan perjured himself in front of a parliamentary committee that's lying for the uninitiated. Is that the type of thing that disqualifies a CTO from a bonus?
I'm not sure how to answer that question in the sense that, there's a lot of hypotheticals in the way that you posed it.
If someone lies to a standing committee of the Parliament of Canada...
Yes, putting it that way, absolutely.
They cannot be bonused.
If it's a hypothetical, I would say yes.
Okay. How many email... And actually, I'm going to back up there. Would you get fired for that?
Quite possibly. It might even be you're not perjuring yourself. I would imagine the RCMP would take an interest in that.
Okay. Ms. Cahill is nodding her head that you'd get...
So when employees get their clearance, their security clearance, there are some criteria, and obtaining a valid security clearance is a condition of employment in the public service.
Okay.
Therefore, should the findings be found, it could really happen.
And is it known how many emails Mr. Doan deleted?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with emails deleted.
You're not familiar with the tens of thousands of documents that it's been alleged that Mr. Doan deleted?
No.
That is the time, Mr. Barrett.
Yikes.
Turning to